Have you ever heard that term, blind faith? Like, to pursue something that would be so outrageous in nature that you would have to literally not look at reality to be able to do it? Similar to the phrase, love is blind, we have this idea that these feelings or emotions are not really real. They're just made up. Is that true? I'm going to posit today that in fact, faith is not blind. Faith is full of vision. And in fact, this is a main way that God speaks to us is through vision. We are visionary beings, like the Creator who made us in His image. And in that, our inside is rich with imagination and creativity, vision, and it impacts every part of our life. God speaks through vision such that we're more shaped by what we see on the inside than what we see on the outside. If God reveals the truth, then the only thing that stands in the way of us seeing His true vision of what He's giving us is a distortion that was given us by the world or our flesh or some erroneous belief that we're holding on to that stands in the way of us and God's vision for us. So, are you ready for 2020 vision here today? I know I am. My name is Tiffany, and I help women align with the frequency of faith so that we can accomplish more in our life, find our purpose, find satisfaction and happiness and authority in our life through biblical principles. And today we're talking about how vision impacts faith. Now, in 2020, which is ironic, being that the year 2020 aligns with a pursuit of mine for 2020 vision. When the world shut down in 2020, I decided I'd take my glasses off. I started studying the Bates method, which is a over 100-year-old book about natural ways to heal your eyesight, and studying why my eyesight is bad. I'm myopic, meaning I can see near, but I can't see far. And it was so fascinating that when I first took off my glasses, the world was literally had a fog covering it. I'd been wearing glasses from that point for, 40 years. And habitually, like never taking them off except to put them on the nightstand to go to sleep. And I started talking about the gains that I was making in my vision on this channel, and some of you will recall that from years ago. And I pursued 2020 vision. Now, I haven't gotten to 2020 vision yet. The world started back up, and my glasses, I had to put them back on. But my study continues, and my vision has certainly improved such that as of this time, I've halved my prescription since that time. So it's like cut in half, meaning I can see twice as good as I did 5 years ago. So, and the interesting thing about learning about how our vision works, our eyesight works, is for me, because I trust that God has divinely designed me, and that every part of my being, my physical being, is a supernatural being that's created to heal itself. Blood is a Band-Aid, and we're made to heal ourselves. The doctor doesn't heal us. Our body heals itself because God put that power within us. And so I believe the same thing is true for vision, and I don't have the key yet to 2020 vision because I'm aligning with something in the world. And certainly that is true. We are far more myopic now than we were 100 years ago. We also largely live inside, so our field of vision rarely goes beyond several feet to the wall. We are off of circadian rhythm, so we don't operate with the sun, so the sun doesn't turn on our circadian rhythm through our eyesight. And so largely it's a contemporary cultural problem that we have. Our eyesight is just degrading, and we put on our glasses and then we hurt our eyes further by use of lenses that fix our focus at one plane. Now, the strange thing that I didn't get back when I was studying vision principles, eyesight principles, was that memory and imagination are connected to the eyesight. I was like, what? That I just didn't get it. I'm like, how? I don't understand. And yet there's so many testimonies from Bates himself in his book, The Method to Natural Perfect Vision. That's probably not the exact title. I can link it below. But how, if you can imagine a period, like in a book, a period, a little dot at the end of a sentence in a book, if you can imagine that, printer's ink is the blackest of all blacks. And if you can imagine that in your head, and you can project it into natural reality, and your eyes can align and make it clear, your vision improves like that. And it happens first on the inside. Now, 5 years ago, I was, I guess, much more natural than I am now. And with the supernatural bent that I lean towards, this actually begins to make a lot of sense. We become who we believe ourselves to be inside. And in fact, all of the scripture points to our frame is our imagination. The frame that we are hung on is not our physical body. It is our imagination. That is because the supernatural is larger than the natural. We always think it's swapped, like, oh, a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith is, would be nice, but, reality is bigger than that. But the truth is that the supernatural is larger, and that if we can embrace things like hope and faith within us, we can combat stress and all of these negative aspects of the natural world that actually impact and cause disease within us. If we bring joy to a situation from the inside of us, we are more likely to be healthy. So faith is less about believing what you can't see, and more about what you see on the inside. So let's look at what vision means in biblically. We've got one of the first visions to pop up in the Old Testament is Genesis 15:1. This is God talking to Abram through a vision. He's telling him, I'm going to give you an heir. I'm going to give you so many heirs that you can't even count them. Look up at the stars in the sky. You're going to have more heirs than the stars in the sky. And then Abram goes to sleep, and he dreams of God giving him a land for his heirs. So God communicates through a vision and then doubles down with a dream. And this vision is so powerful to Abram and does come true many, many years later. Now there's also the vision of Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain so that those who read it can run with it. You're painting a picture for someone, or you're painting a picture for yourself, just like we make goals and intentions at the beginning of the new year. We're painting a vision for ourselves. And alternately, the world can certainly paint visions for us if we spend all of our time in the news or in the genres of horror or genres of romance. We are defined by the tropes of those genres. I know that when I was deep into the romantic genre in my early 20s, like, my relationships didn't work out because I replayed these silly movies in my own relationships. We are a product of what's on the inside. So, and if we take a look here at Hebrews 11:1, this answers what faith is. Faith is the substance of things longed for, hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Let me write that down. Important here. Faith, that's what we're trying to figure out. What is faith exactly? Is a substance of things hoped for. The evidence, let me get this right exactly. Evidence of things not seen. Okay, so faith, it's not just some fluffy emotion. It is a substance. In the Geneva, this is grounds, the grounds where things are grown. It's also confidence. The confidence of things hoped for. So faith has a desire within it. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna have faith for God's will here. I mean, of course, we want to live in God's will, and we do live in God's will. In fact, there's nothing that happens that is not in His will. If we effort away from His will, He will allow it because we have freedom, and He will still turn it for good in His will. But there is something here in hoped that always gets me, because when I suggest a blind faith for a healing, for a relationship to turn around, oftentimes I receive back from people this fear of embracing hope. Like it'll be more painful to want something that we don't get, like being healed, or a relationship turning around. It will be more painful to want that and not get it than to just not want it. Which doesn't make sense to me, because faith is the substance of things hoped for, meaning we have to want stuff. If we're busy looking good and trying to want what we think other people would approve of us wanting, if we're trying to be religious in nature and want things for other people's approval, that is works and self-righteousness. But God is speaking to us through the things in our heart. Partly, they're great. We would want them. In fact, I would take it beyond the fact that we're afraid of our hopes being let down. We are afraid of finding out that our God is not a good God. We're afraid of being punished instead of rewarded. But faith, to have faith, is to have a hope within yourself for something. An evidence of things not seen. And I love this thought together, hope and evidence. So the hope is like the wanting it. I want it. I want this thing. I'm going to allow myself to want it. I would have to want it to have faith for it. But the evidence of things unseen, yes, they're unseen, but I would call these signs. The signs that God gives us. The way that He aligns time such that, oh wow, I just saw another butterfly. That's the third time today that butterfly landed in such a way, just like it did yesterday, some coincidence that reminds you of this vision that God has planted in your heart for something good that He wants to give you. Faith is not, just because we can't see it doesn't mean it isn't more powerful than the forces of this natural world. I would argue it's more powerful. So when we align with hope and faith, and God's vision for us, what does that feel like on the inside? Exciting? A little bit scary? We don't want to be let down. Certainly, oftentimes what I will find is that when I have a vision, God gives me a vision in my heart and I want it and it's hopeful. And do I trust to have faith in it? The first thing that's going to come up in my face is something scary that I'm going to have to do. Some way I'm going to have to stretch out of my comfort zone. So it's a little bit scary. But it's excitement. It's a quickening. It is, hope is, it has a rest in it because you're resting in that it's coming to you. Whereas if we don't hope for something, we say, oh, I'm not going to believe for a healing in my body because I believe that that ability to died with the apostles in the Bible, and now I'm just going to go to the doctor. What you're doing, I believe, is you're pursuing works. So you're more trusting in the doctor, trying to get an outcome that you want, than surrendering to God. Now, what happens if we decide, I'm not gonna have hope, I'm gonna go to the doctor? What are we left with there? The main tool that the medical industry uses to motivate us to go buy their wares, fear. So you have two choices. Fear runs you when you are in self-righteousness. When you're busy working hard for other people's approval, you are run by fear. Hope is what you have when you trust that something is bigger than you, bigger than this world seems. When you go to God within yourself and rest on Him and surrender to His will, hope is what you feel. Hope is going to put you square in the fruits of the Spirit. And fear is going to put you square in the fruits of the flesh. I'm so heartened. Over the last couple of weeks, I keep hearing of doctors. One, a very prominent surgeon, I'm reading his book now, Casey Means, Good Energy. And he has renounced he studied to be a top surgeon in his field from all the best medical schools and quit right before he graduated his internship, his 5th year of doing surgery, because he realized that his function as a surgeon was pharmaceutical in nature only, and that he was patching up people and he was not solving the problem. And he quit his surgical path and went into functional medicine. And I'm so heartened. He's not the only doctor. I've heard of a local doctor also that has totally closed his pharmaceutical side of his business, which is where a lot of the big money is, and started practicing functional medicine. What is functional medicine? It's food, diet, exercise, movement, sun, environmental factors. These are the things that make us healthy or sick. And the doctor who is practicing pharmacological medicine is not going to heal you. In fact, he's going to make you sicker. The glasses that you wear to see are going to make you blinder. So it's time to look inside and begin to want more, believe for more. And in doing so, the shackles of the world begin to fall away and you begin to see God's vision so much more clearly. So how would this change your week? How could it change your week if you looked within and chose hope this week? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.